Everything I'm going to speak about in this lecture, first, good evening to everyone. We're making this lecture tonight, Leilui Nishmat Ida Bat Clara. It's the mother of Gili and Yaakov. And I know this family for almost about 10 years. And before I will start the lecture, I want to tell you a short story. Everything I'm going to speak, almost everything, will be on the screen. You'll be able to watch it on the screen. I'm going to show my sources. This lecture, we should call it like a wake-up call. We are 2.5 months before Rosh Hashanah for a new Jewish year, before the Judgment Day. I want to tell you a story. I actually wanted today to speak about scientific proof for the Torah, that the Torah is divine, but then I changed my mind. When I saw the kind of crowd that I have here, I thought maybe we should be a little bit more advanced tonight and speak about some more wake-up things for all of us. But before we get into the lecture, I want to tell you a story. I'm sure that most of you knows that there is a boss to this world, and he runs the show. And everything that happened in this world, from the smallest to the largest thing, needs his approval. If you wouldn't agree with that, it wouldn't happen. Whether it's good or bad, that's besides the point. It needs his approval. If you wouldn't approve it on Rosh Hashanah, that's the foundation of Judaism. One of the 13 foundation principles of Judaism, 13 Ikarim, is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Mashgiach, is supervising, is in charge of everything. Even the way a leaf falls from the tree, if it's going left or right, it's in his hand. Which means if a leaf falls from the tree and somebody rides a carriage with horses and the leaf sticks to the wheel of the carriage and goes with the carriage about 5 miles away and then falls on the floor and one animal comes and eats it, a bird or something like this, everything is supervised. Nothing is coincidence. So to make my point stronger, about 6-7 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, it's hard for me to remember exactly what, I gave a lecture here in Brooklyn to many Israelis. It used to be the Israeli club, the Israeli home, whatever you want to call it, Abaita Israeli in Brooklyn. And Israeli guys used to come every night, non-religious. And Baruch Hashem, many of them today are fully religious. They used to come, I used to give lectures over there. One time, I had two very stubborn guys. They had very long hair, like extremely long and puffy. And for about an hour, I was begging them to remove the hair. According to Judaism, long hair is very bad luck for the person. For men, not for the ladies. For the ladies, you're allowed to be pretty to your husband, you can have long hair, no problem. But for the men, the longer the hair is, the worse it is for him. It's judgment. It brings judgments on the person, less mercy. Dinim, that's what according to Kabbalah. So I knew that if I'm going to convince these two guys to remove their hair, that's going to be a major step forward to move them towards religion. But it wasn't easy. They were willing to do a lot of mitzvot, but they're not willing to remove their hair. After I'm begging them for an hour, showing them proofs, it's not working. 11 o'clock at night, I look through the door, I have a visitor. Who comes? Gili Asapar. Gili, the famous barber, walk into the place, and guess what? He passed by. He heard that I'm giving a lecture there. Not only that, he comes with the haircut machine and the scissors, and he walked in and he's holding it in his hand. Now he doesn't know what's going on in the lecture. He walked in. I say, what are you doing here? I heard you giving a lecture here, so I passed by. So I say, but why are you holding in your hand these barber things? I'm arguing with them. He said, no, I gave a haircut to somebody privately, and I just brought it with me. I was a few blocks away. So I say, you came right on time. So I look at the two guys. I say, no, what else do you want? God has sent you the barber right to the place, 11 o'clock at night after an hour of argument. Do you have any more doubts? These two guys, one of them was Yossi, one of them was Oren. This guy, Oren, was holding his head. He said, I hate to do it, But this guy left me no choice. I gotta take off the hair. Right away, we brought the cameras. We have the pictures if you have doubts. I started to take pictures. How we gave them haircut. But wait, this guy Oren, when his hair was off, he went to the mirror. Then we heard the scream, no! No, what did I do? He began to cry. Forget it. Listen to this story. Then I was telling the other guy, I want to take you with me 1 week to the yeshiva. I want you to see what's to learn Torah is. Yes, I promise you. Sunday you pick me up. I think it was Tuesday. Said by Sunday, it's going to cool off. Right now it's hot. He's willing to come. So I told him, no, by Sunday you're not going to come. Now you're willing to come. No, but I have to tell my boss. I got to give him a warning. I say, no. Then I had an idea. I say, you know what? How much money you have in your wallet? He opened up his wallet. He has 200 and something. I say, give me $200 deposit. If you come on Sunday, as soon as you walk in the door by yeshiva, I hand you the $200. If you don't come, I put it in a pushka box, in a tzedakah box of the yeshiva. Fair deal? Yeah. He said, fair deal. He took out the $200. He gave me the $200. Sunday afternoon, he showed up to the yeshiva. Right away, he comes to me. I pull out his $200, say, relax, here is the money. He said, you know why I'm here? For the $200. He was working, making $350 a week, working very hard. And I say, here is your money. Those two guys are rabbis in Israel today.
Oh, Hashem.
You understand? So here you go. Hashem is watching everything. You just have to be blind to ignore it. If you want to see, you begin to see. The more you investigate, the more you see. Let's start the lecture. We know that the Torah, the last book from the 5 books, Sefer Dvarim, is a repeat of the entire story of the Torah, plus it's full with musar, ethics, conscience, guilt, warning, reward and punishment, things that are already very famous in history. The Jews, the Muslims, the Christians, they all believe in our Torah, not only the Jews. If you know the debate that I had with this Christian professor, we didn't have an argument about the Torah. About the Torah, we all agreed it's the Word of God. The argument was on the New Testament, that they made it up. It's full of errors. But about the Torah, nobody had any doubts. Not the Muslims, not the Christians, not the Jews. We know we received the Torah in front of millions of witnesses. What we don't know is what the Torah is requesting from each one of us. Now I want to ask you a logical question. If God will come here into this room and speak to all of us face to face, no messengers, no rabbis, God himself, I came here, I want to participate in this yortzeit, I came over especially for you. Here is my book, please listen to every word over there. Would we have any doubts from this moment on if we should do it or not? Are we going to change or we continue to go against the laws? What do you think? We continue to rebel against him, or after we hear him, finally we won't have any more doubts, we're going to take things seriously? The answer is, in my opinion, we're going to change tremendously. Why are we not changing today? Because we have doubts if the Torah is the word of Hashem or not. Nothing is easier than to prove that the Torah is divine. There's nothing easier than this. Everything else you're trying to prove, a murder case, a robbery case, anything like that, anything you're trying to prove, it's very difficult. To prove that the Torah is divine is very, very easy. Very easy. Because after 1 hour of a lecture with scientific proofs, everybody understands that this book can never be written by a human being. No human being has complete knowledge about nature. In order for you to write the Torah, you needed to know all the oceans, 72% of the world. Every creature that lives in the ocean, you need to know by heart from A to Z. You couldn't write what you wrote otherwise. You need to know 2 million species of animals. 2 million. We have today, thank you, we have 2 million species. You wouldn't be able to write the Torah unless if you know each one of them 100%. To know there are 4 exceptional animals from 2 million. 4 out of 2 million. And if we would find one more, the 5th one, it will be the end of Judaism. Why? The book is not divine. There's an error. But there's no error. 3,318 years. Billions of times people challenged the Torah. Not once they were able to prove one error. Why? It's divine. Millions of witnesses heard God giving us the Torah. 80,000 religions and cults started always with the story of one person. Not once in history one of the Gentiles that made up a phony book was able to bring even one witness to his story. It was always his word against our word, 50-50 right there. It starts with 50% doubt. The only book in history that was given in public to millions of witnesses is Judaism. It gets better. The Jews that received the Torah were not so interested to change. They are not different than us. The nature of the person is to be free, freedom. Let us do whatever we want. Don't tell us what to do. Live your life, let me live my life. Nothing is changed in the psychology of the human mind. What's changed? That 3,318 years ago, when the people wanted to go against, they had no choice. They had to accept it for one reason. When they opened up the book, they saw that the book is speaking about them. They are the ones who are acting in the book of this God. Now tell me please, who knows better than you what you did in the last year? Does anybody in the world can write a book about everything you did in the last year and he's going to be more precise than your book? He knows better than you what you did? Of course not. You know what you did from A to Z in the last year. There is only one that is able to give you a book and write everything he did for you in the last year. And remember, if you're going to find one thing in the book that relates to you that is not 100% correct, there is no point of continuing with this book. Why? It's not divine. If it's divine, it cannot be any errors. No mistakes. Divine, it's 100%, not 99.9. One mistake, it's not divine, it's human. You got the point? So all they had to do is to find one error in the book, one mistake. If they are able to find one mistake in a book, they would make a celebration. Why? We don't need to keep Shabbat. We don't need to be honest. We can cheat. We can steal. We can have whatever we want. We can eat whatever we want. Nobody tells us what to do. We're free. Better than that, those Jews, thousands of them, were married to their aunts, to their father's sisters. They just found out they have to get divorced. Not one, not two, not 1,000, not 2,000. Tens of thousands of Jews found out this moment that you have to get divorced and leave your 10 children with your wife. Your life is finished. Now what's your incentive? To cooperate with Moshe Rabbeinu that brought you the book and he claimed he got it from God, or to rebel against him? If you cooperate with him, your life is finished. You have to divorce your wife. You have to live according to the book. He's going to be your boss. He's going to boss you around for the next who knows how long. Or if you rebel against him, or you kill him, or you get rid of him, or you prove that the book is not divine, you're free. Like you were just free until now. So what's your incentive? To go with him or to go against him? The answer, to go against him. But 15 million Jews approximately went with him, cooperated with him. For one reason. Pay attention to what I say carefully. Only one reason. There's many reasons, hundreds of reasons. One, it's enough. You don't need more than that. I open up the book and I say that the writer of the book are speaking to me and to my brothers, to the nation. And he says, your eyes saw that I opened the ocean for you and I took you out of Egypt. You went through, your enemies drowned. I look, I read the story. If it didn't happen, I would raise my hand and say, Mr. Moshe, first mistake right there. I didn't go through the ocean. The ocean didn't split for me. Where is this nonsense coming from? You had a dream? You hallucinating? Probably it happened. Otherwise, it will be the first error in the Torah. But the best part is there's more than 100 miracles right there. I don't have time to repeat them, but I will tell you only one. When I opened the book, I saw that I heard Moshe and God speaking in front of me. I heard God and Moshe speaking. That's enough. If I heard God and Moshe speaking, that means the book is correct. I heard God. How can I go against him? You have to be a fool. God just spoke to you 2 minutes ago and you want to go against him? Come on. Gotta be normal. If I didn't hear God, what point do I have to continue to speak to this Moshe? I just found out he's lying to me. I'm not going to cooperate with such a liar. He just told me a story, and this story never happened. He's trying to fool me for whatever reason. That will be the end of Judaism. One of the two. If we didn't hear God, nobody would agree to speak to him one more word. They would kill him right there, and that would be the end of it. You wouldn't even know about him. You wouldn't even know about Shabbat, about Tefillin, about circumcision, about Yarmulke, tzitzit, none of it. It wouldn't even start. Why? Everybody would raise their hand and say, what? You came to destroy our life, you tell us to get divorced, you tell us to throw all the cows that we slaughter with a regular knife to the garbage, just because it's not kosher? Well, you came up with these crazy things. And you know what? 80% of the Torah, it's against human logic. It's way above human understanding. A regular human being cannot understand the Torah. You understand you should not kill. You understand you should not steal. You understand you have to get married and not to cheat. This is logical. But what about all the weird things that nobody understands why God gave it? Take the blood, sacrifices, the altar, take few drops of blood, put on the ear, put on the toes. What's going on here? Chametz. There's a lot of things in the Torah that it's against human logic. Why people agree to do something against their logic? Very simple. Because there is one sentence in the Torah. You should do what's honest, straight, and decent in the eyes of your God, not in your eyes. And that's the major problems that each one of us has today. The world did not change. I told you, psychology is psychology. People are the same people. Yeah, maybe we have technology today. The world is different physically. But spiritually, there was always temptation. The things that we are facing today, most of that was there 3,300 years ago. We always want to do religion in our way. The way we understand. The Torah came and warned us. Don't do what you want to do. Do what the book tells you to do. I want to start, as you can see on the screen. Listen, Israel, to the laws that I'm giving you today. You should learn them. It's mitzvah to learn it, not just to put it on the shelf. Most Jews in the world today, most of them, never read the Torah once in their life. Take 13.2 million Jews, take the Haredim, take 1 million, 2 million of the ultra-Orthodox people that learn Torah daily, take them out. Ask all the secular Jews if they read the Torah carefully from the beginning to the end, even once in their life. You'll be surprised, you won't find one, not two. You will not find one that read the Torah once. How can it be? Now, you may tell me they don't read the Torah for one reason. We just don't believe it's divine. Why should they waste few hours of their time to read the Torah? Makes sense, no? My answer to you will be, if I put 100 cups of water here on the table, and one of them has poison in it, and you just came from the desert after 3 days. 3 days you did not drink and you're very dizzy. You have one more day to live. By tomorrow night, everybody dies. But you're very dizzy right now. So you have two choices. One, to gamble, take 1 cup of water and drink. Take the risk. Second, to suffer 24 hours extra, and tomorrow night we'll make it to safe water and to live for sure. Do you think that anybody here would pick up the cup and drink and take a risk to die immediately, knowing he can survive and in 24 hours he's going to find safe water? What do you think? My answer to you is, I asked this question in many places for many, many years. I never found anybody that is willing to take a risk and drink from a cup that there could be poison in it. Even though the percentage is only 1 out of 100. 1% out of 100 a chance to die. 1 out of 100. 99% that nothing will happen. But it could be that I'm going to die drinking this cup. I don't take risk. I wait another 24 hours and I make it to life. My question to you is, if that's the case, everybody here has to agree that the Torah has more than 1% chance that God gave it. It's the most famous book in history. Every generation, the Torah was sold more than any other book. I'm not talking once in a while that a bestseller comes out for about 6-7 months, everybody buys it and then it dies out. I'm talking constantly. The Torah is the best seller in history. All people in the world almost have the Torah, even Chinese people, even though it's not their religion. Muslims, as I said, Christians, they all read the Torah. Almost every Goy in the world knows the story of Genesis, the creation of the world. It's a famous book. You have to agree that there's at least more than 1% chance that this is the book of God. When you continue to turn the pages, you see that this God is a very strict God. The book is full of warnings, reward and punishment through the entire Torah. From the minute you begin to read the story, reward, punishment, reward, punishment, reward, punishment. The punishment are hard to believe that it's even possible. If you really learn carefully the meaning of those words, what this God promised those who go against his orders after they leave this materialistic world, this material world, it's hard to believe that such punishments are possible. At the same time, it's hard to believe what a huge reward he's going to give for those Jews who keep his Torah. Now, is it possible that I'm going to be such a fool? 70 years of my life I'm going to live without knowing my purpose, without reading the book that claimed to be the Word of God from A to Z? Maybe my entire life is a mess. Maybe I'm heading to the opposite direction. Maybe every second right now will cost me big time. You know the people that get credit card. It happens usually to the teenagers. They get the credit card and they go to celebrate, shopping, from one shopping to the other. What happens after a month? Time to pay. To buy, it's few minutes and it's very sweet. Lots of excitement. Later, this excitement will cost us big time. So you have to understand, a clever person doesn't run crazy to buy. What does he do? He's buying knowing I'm going to be able to pay. If I'm not able to pay, how do I take such a risk? And buying, and I ended up not able to pay the price. Now you have to know one thing. The Torah says, as I'm going to show you soon, that the major punishment for the wicked people after they leave this world is the embarrassment. Before we are talking about the physical punishment, and that's not what I'm going to do tonight. If you want, you can watch some of my lectures in the website, divineinformation.com. I have about 350 lectures in English and in Hebrew over there. And some of these lectures speaking, it's brave lectures, not for every person, only for those who are really seeking for the truth. It's recommended to go there and see what they are facing if they continue to live in their normal lifestyle. What later on going to be the price? If they read it, they review it, most likely they will change their lifestyles tremendously right away. Yesterday, not tomorrow. Why? Most of the reason that people are living in their own lifestyle and they can care less about the Torah, it's ignorance. That's because they never read it once. From experience, when you read it once, you'll never be the same. I promise you. Try. Don't read the whole Torah. Just read Sefer Dvarim. Take 5 hours of your time. Read Sefer Dvarim from A to Z, and you're going to look at life differently. From this moment on, you begin to realize that life is a free choice. The Torah says, and I'm going to show soon, I'm giving you the life and the good, the bad and the death, and you should choose the life. That means he gave you free choice to choose the bad. There are many things in the Torah that teach us about the purpose of life, that life is all a test. How many people today knows that every second of their life is a test, and they are being judged as they are doing what they are doing, and everything is being calculated, and later on it's going to be a mark, and based on the mark it's going to be the reward or the punishment. How many people are aware of it? Not that many. I want to give you an example what I mean. When you go to a boxing match, what do you see inside the boxing match? Two boxers are fighting very badly. And then after a few minutes, one of them collapses. Knockout. What is always the first thing that the loser is doing after he fell? He hear the ring, the referee counted until 10. What comes right after? The loser is doing everything he can to get back on his feet and wave to the crowd. I did not get defeated. I'm still standing. I'm still standing. Tell me now, right now he's suffering tremendous physical pain. His head is pounding. He's bleeding. His eyes are black. He cannot even open his eyes. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. There's only one thing on his mind: to avoid 10 seconds of embarrassment. That's all on your mind. He doesn't care. He's risking his health. He's risking his spine. He's risking his brain. He doesn't care about this. He cares about only one thing. I stand on my feet. Why is it? Because embarrassment is a very, very, very painful punishment. Very, very painful punishment. Much worse than physical pain. Much worse. People that got beat up by robbers, by enemies, they did not commit suicide because of that. People knew that tomorrow they're going to publish about them an article in a newspaper, and people would know a secret about them. They jumped from the windows. They couldn't take the embarrassment. And the major punishment over there, remember, is the embarrassment that everything you did in your life will be reviewed from A to Z. I want to start. The Torah says, listen, Israel, to the laws that I'm teaching you today. You should learn them and make sure to do it. Some people say, Rabbi, I'm religious in my heart. It's enough. I love God. I respect the Torah. My grandfather was a rabbi. But I'm not in a mood to do it. I mean, it's too hard for me. It's hard for me, my business. My wife doesn't want. I have children. They're not going to agree to change. All kinds of excuses. The Torah always said to do. Every time God referred to the Jews, He always made sure to say the word to do. La'asotam, va'asitem. You should do, you should do, you should do. Not only to learn, not only to know, not only to believe, to do. You did, you're going to be rewarded. You did not do, you missed the opportunity. So the Torah says, not only us that making this covenant with God today are the one who are a part of this covenant. Those who are not here are also included in the agreement that God is making with the Jewish people. That means us. Right there in front of you. Not only us. לא את אבותינו, כי אם איתנו אנחנו אלה פה היום חיים, פנים בפנים, face to face, your God is speaking to you. Now remember, if it didn't happen, the Jews would raise their hand to Moshe and say, it says here in the book that God is speaking to us face to face. Anybody here heard the voice of God? Please raise his hand. It's enough that one Jew out of millions would raise his hand and say, excuse me, Moshe, with all the respect, it says that all of us heard God, but I didn't hear him. I'm here, I'm standing here hours, and I just didn't hear him. It will be the end of Judaism, just there. It will be over. Nobody would continue to do. Why? It's a mistake in a book. Mistake in a book, it's not divine. It's not divine. For me, it's a toilet paper. I can care less about it. If it's divine, I'm willing to give my life for it. For my own benefit. I'm not doing a favor to anybody but myself. If it's not divine, why should I waste a second of it? You got to be a fool to follow something that have questions about it. Let's continue. You should inform your children the day that you stood in front of me in Mount Sinai. And I taught you all the laws that you should do. God spoke to me from the fire. You heard his voice, but you did not see any picture. Today, your God is ordering you to do these laws. You should keep them and do it with all your heart and all your soul. You're willing to give your life for the truth. How many people here are willing to give their life for the truth? How many? Today, God is showing us that people who live in a complete illusion, they follow a false book, false prophet, a book that never gave even one prophecy, full of contradiction, full of mistakes. They're willing to die. They scream and they blow themselves up. Why? Because somebody sold them a story that they go to heaven. They're willing to kill themselves just because somebody in a mosque told them a story, even though it's never mentioned in the Quran. And we are the only nation that received the book of God, is full of evidence that there's life of eternity, as I'm going to show you. We can care less about it. What an embarrassment. And again, it's not because we're evil. I don't believe. It's because we are ignorant, and ignorance is very painful. Why? Because if you don't know computers, what can take you a minute will take you a week. You're going to type non-stop because you didn't know there's one function. You press 5 buttons and you can send 1,000 emails to 1,000 people. Rather, since you're ignorant, you didn't learn computers, you're lazy, you sat for a week and you sent 1,000 emails. Why? Because you're a fool. If you would invest 5 minutes to learn the manual of the computer or the software of this computer, you would save yourself days of agony and pain and sweat and backache. Why? Ignorance. Ignorance not only in Judaism, not only in religion, in everything in life is the biggest enemy for the person. Ignorance, remember, borut. So the Torah says, today your God is making you a special nation, as he promised your fathers. And he elevated you above all the nations. You're not a regular Gentile anymore, right here in front of you, for those who wanted to read the source. Until now, you were a regular nation. Today, I am making you my personal children, spiritual children. I'm your spiritual father. I make an agreement with you. If you listen to me in this life, which is a test, I am going to inherit for you a life of eternity. If you're not, you will see later what's going to happen. I'm making you above all the nations to be holy. What's holy? Holy means special, unique, different than all the others. As we continue, the Torah says, when you keep these laws, you are benefiting yourself first. You're not doing it for me, right there. Leman yetav lecha, for your own benefits. You are not doing me any favors. I do not need from you anything. I'm perfect as it is. I was here before I created this world. I will be here after. I do not need anything for myself from you. Since I set a system of tests and rules, I am testing you, and if you listen, first of all, you are going to benefit, you and your children after you for eternity. Lecha ulevanecha acharecha. Then the Torah continue. The Torah says, when you keep the mitzvot, keep it 100%. Don't do just what you feel like doing. Don't add to it. Don't decrease anything from it. Follow it in the original way that the order was given. Why? It's divine. If it was a human order, no, you're human, I'm human, I did it more or less. What's the difference? If it's divine, 1% change, it's 0. I just did not listen to the orders. I just want to give you an example. To make tefillin, there's hundreds of steps. From the minute you slaughter the cow until it becomes 2 black boxes with parshiot inside, it's a long process that takes up to a year. If you messed up in one of the steps, one of them, the tefillin is not kosher. You paid a lot of money and it's worthless. It's nothing. It's like an empty box. Why? Because it's not 100%. It's only 99.9%. One letter is missing from the Torah, it's nothing. It's not divine anymore. As error. Error, it's not divine. Let's continue. The Torah says, find another nation that have such a righteous Torah like this book. There's no other. There's only one nation that receives such a righteous Torah. There's no other nation that receives such a decent tzaddik. Tzaddikim means righteous. Righteous laws like these laws that I'm giving you today. So just be careful to keep it as the highest way possible. Then the Torah continue. I'm quoting everything in pink. This is what I'm talking about. The Torah says, and now Israel, what is your God asking from you? What am I asking from you? Am I asking something impossible? I'm asking something that it's very, very possible. A piece of cake. Just it. Nothing is too difficult. It's difficult for someone who never learned. For someone who went in it. After 2-3 months, he finds out that it's not the end of the world. You get used to everything. You get used to it. You begin to do it. And later on, it's becoming easier and easier. Who can raise his hand here and tell me what's the purpose of life? What are we living for? To make money? To eat? For what? To have children? You become a chimpanzee if that's the purpose.
To fix what we've done before.
Huh?
To fix what we did in the past life.
The answer is nobody in the world really knows, unless if he's ultra-orthodox, nobody really knows what's the purpose of life. You ask people on the street, you go to Wall Street, what's the purpose of life? To make money in the stock market. You go to the farmers, what's the purpose of life? To take care of the cows and the horses. You go to Hollywood, what's the purpose of life? To be a movie star. You go to the stadiums over there in Israel and in Europe, what's the purpose of life? To make it to the team, to become a professional soccer player. You come to Harlem, what's the purpose of life? To become an NBA star, to get a contract. You go to, I don't know, anywhere you want to go. What's the purpose of life? To be a rocker, to be a player in a band or something. You understand? Everybody design his own purpose of life. Now tell me please, who is the only one who is capable to describe the purpose of life? The creation or the creator? What do you think? Who knows better? We knows better or the creator knows better for us? If my creator gave me a book and inside the book I see right there, as you can see, that I am torturing you, I'm giving you hard time, לנסותך, to test you, ניסיון, test, to see what's in your heart. Are you going to keep my laws or not? That's it. If somebody asks you tomorrow, tell me please, what are we living for? Why God needed this whole world? Why He needed billions of people, animals, birds, fish? What does He need all this? Why we have all this Torah? Why we have all this mitzvot that 80% of that look weird to us? We don't even understand where the logic here. There's so many things that we will never understand, the secrets behind it. The answer is one sentence inside a divine book. You don't need more. What is it? I'm going to read it word to word. Leman anotcha. I'm giving you hard time. I'm choking you. I'm beating you up. I'm starving you. I'm taking away your job. I'm not finding your wife. You are barren. So many problems. Every person in the world has problems, with no exception. Everybody. Why? Why? Is this sadistic? Will you created us to make us suffer? The answer is no. Don't be a fool. Just read. Get educated. What is it? What I can do, you can also do. What's the difference? I learn. That's why I know the answer. You can also know. למען anotcha lenasotcha. I'm torturing you. But at the same time, the purpose of this suffering is to test you. Are you going to follow my orders or not? What's the point? Okay, let's say I'm going to follow your orders. What's the point? What's the answer? The answer is to reward you in your end. להטיבך באחריתך. I am the faithful God that will pay you the reward that I promise in so many different places in the Torah. Soon we are going to talk about this reward. It pays for you to stay, believe me. It's important for you to know what are you going to earn if you're going to dedicate some of your time to keep these laws. But before that, the Torah says something tremendous. You should know that a person doesn't live only by food, by bread. No. כי לא על הלחם לבדו יחיה האדם. Not only thanks to the food you're alive. כי על כל מוצא פי השם יחיה האדם. You have to live, and the life, the gasoline for your life is the Torah, the words of God. Not only food. Food the dogs also have. The dogs eat. The non-Jews also eat. They don't have the Torah. They eat, they do whatever they want. They take drugs, they make all kinds of crimes. They don't care. They also alive. They playing guitar. They are very good basketball players. Is this life? The answer is no, baloney. That's not life. That's an illusion. So why they don't die? Because if everybody who go against the Creator will get punished immediately, there's no free choice. The free choice get eliminated right away. Of course, if you just killed somebody, you get shot. If you just robbed the bank, you get robbed in your house. If you punch a person, somebody just came a second later and punched you. If you gave tzedakah, you made double 2 minutes later. Everybody will be a robot. Look at this, Rabbi. I put $100 in a box. I turn around, 200 on the floor. I put the 200 in, I turn around, 400 on the floor. I put all days going like this. All day like this. Oh, what's the point? I'm doubling my money every second. You don't deserve reward. That's not a test. If you just punch somebody and a second later somebody punched you. You punch him tomorrow, somebody else punch you. The next day you punch somebody, somebody else punch you. Where is the test? You're never going to punch anyone. You hate him, you want to kill him, you don't move. Why? Who wants to get a punch? The test is that the Torah says, this is what you're going to get. And you're doing it, and you're not getting it. Oh, what happened to God? He forgot? God told Adam, the day you eat from the tree, you're going to die. When did he die really? 930 years later. God has patience. 930 years later, almost 1,000 years later, he only died. So now the Torah says, not only by eating food you're alive. That's not what life is. Soon I'm going to describe what life means. A lot of you think life is to enjoy, to sleep, to drink, to eat, to swim, to run, to listen to music. That's life. To talk gossip, to watch television. That's life. That's baloney. That's not life. We care what the Creator call life, not what we call or in the media. What do I care if in the media they say, have the life, show you Hollywood. That's not life. That's according to their eyes. That's life. But who is important? What they think or what the Creator of the world thinks? The Creator of the world gave us the Torah. Torah means instructions. Torah means instructions. In Hebrew, Torah, Orah. And over there, soon you're going to understand what life is all about. We begin with describing this. You should know inside your heart. The same way a father is strict with his son, this is how I am your God, strict with you. Why? Because I love you or because I hate you? A father that is strict with his son, he doesn't agree with his drugs habit. He fights with his stealing. He doesn't want him to do all kinds of other things. Why? Because he loves him. If a father locked his son in a house for 24 hours because there was a crime going to happen with his gang, that's because he wanted him to suffer in a house. Because he wanted to save his life. If a father hit his son when he's trying to get electrocuted from the electric outlet, it's not because he wants his son to have pain. Because the kid doesn't realize when you talk to him. So you ask him not to touch, he touch. He's 2 years old. Once you come to him and you hit him once, That's it. He doesn't touch. Why? Because that's the only way right now he's understanding. Sometimes the only way we understand things is when we lose our job. When we don't have money for mortgage or for rent. We begin to remember, where are you, God? Help me. If I wouldn't take your money away, you would not speak to me one word in 70 years. I want to make you close to me, I take away your money. When your money is gone, you call your father, I don't have, I'm broke. You call your mother, I'm broke. You call your brother, I'm broke. You call your friends, everybody runs around with excuses. What's happened? Oh God, please have mercy on me. They're going to throw me out of the house, I have children, what am I going to do? What made you speak to God? That he took away your money. It's no problem for him to give it back to you. He is the master of everything. People think to make $1,000, it's easy for God. To make $1 million, it's a little bit harder. He has to sweat. He has to work very hard to give me $1 million. Baloney. Million, 1,000, a billion, it's the same thing for him. It's no difficulty whatsoever. It's all a test. The same way a father is strict with his son, this is how your God is strict with you. Be careful not to forget the day that you receive these laws from me. Don't forget, you're going to end up lose. Don't forget, if you remember and follow it, you'll win. If you ignore it and you forget it, you lose big time. Then the Torah continue. People say, okay, Rabbi, I'm willing to keep Shabbat, but I have a problem. What is my problem? I have a business. And I work in a mall. And in a mall, if you don't open on Shabbat, you have a big problem. You cannot make business. All the business comes on Friday, on Saturday and Sunday. If I close Shabbat, it's the 4 major day of the month. I have no chance to be in business. Somebody like this, it's not only a fool. He doesn't have an idea how life is managed. He thinks that the more you work, the more you make. Because this is nature. If I work 10 hours, I made $100. I work 15 hours a day, I make $150. Technically, naturally, you're right. 10 hours, $100. 15 hours, $150. No arguments. The boss counting extra 5 bills. No problem. What you don't know is that what you make has nothing to do with how much going to be left in your hands. You can make $1 billion a year. And at the end of the year, you're in deficit. You know this boxer, Tyson? He was making every 5 minutes $30 million. Again, and again, and again. Hundreds of millions. That's besides all the money he made from all kinds of investments. One day, they say on the news that he's selling his house, 60 bedrooms, for $4 million. The house worth $30 million. He needed money today. He went and sold the house for $4 million. One time he's driving in Midtown Tunnel with his Ferrari, 200 miles an hour inside the tunnel. The cop pulled him over. He said, take the Ferrari, $700,000 special car, custom made from Italy for him. Take the car, leave me alone. The cop took the Ferrari. He got away with the ticket. Why? Doesn't want to lose his license. So in a second, he lost $700,000. These people make, but they can lose it all. He got to bankruptcy. Same thing the other one. What's the singer's name? Jackson. All of a sudden, he bankrupt. He made 1 or 2 mistakes. God took away all his money. To make a lot of money, there's no guarantee you have blessing in this money. Sometimes you make very little, but your engine never break. You don't have any delegation. You don't need lawyers. You get all kinds of benefits that you didn't know where it comes from. And in the end of the year, even though you made nothing compared to your boss, you save more money than him. Why? It's all an illusion. People have lots of money in their hand, but God is the only decision maker. You don't believe me? Here, I'm showing you the source. The source is like this. I gave you cities full of wealth that you did not build. Cities. Countries, cities. You did not build them. I gave you houses full of wealth that you did not fulfill. Wells that you did not dig. Vineyards, olives you did not plant. Eat and be full. Enjoy. I'm happy that you're happy. No problem. But be careful. Don't forget your God. Don't be ungrateful. If there's something I really hate, is ungrateful people. I cannot stand proud people. I cannot stand ungrateful people. Can somebody raise his hand here and say, I am not ungrateful to my Creator? How many times you tell him thank you that you're able to walk? How many times you tell him thank you that you're not blind? How many times you told him thank you that you have children? You know 15% of the Jews in the world cannot have children. How many times you told him thank you that you have a beautiful house? How many times you told him thank you that you eat great food every day? That you're healthy? That there are trillions of miracles happening in your body every second. Trillions, not billions. Trillions of miracles every second in your body for you to function. If you learn about the body, you'll be shocked how many miracles are happening for you to function an extra minute. And you come to your wife in the end of the business day, honey, the food is ready? What a deal I made today in the office. I'm such a genius. I'm a superstar. I made those 2 companies doing business. I'm going to cut from them commission, and from them I buy this building. This is what the Torah says. Be careful, because your God is very strict. Don't test him. Don't play games. Do not test your God. You did it in the past. Don't continue. לא תנסו את השם אלוקיכם. You should do the straight and the decent in the eyes of your God for your own benefit. Not for me, for you. Now remember, the Torah gave us a warning. We forget this warning every day. I promise you that we forget it. Even the religious one forget it sometimes. Here, right on top of the page. Eat, be full, have great houses. You're going to see it. You're going to have lots of horses and cows and everything, and gold and silver, and everything you own is plenty. And then you become proud, and you forget your God that took you out of Egypt. You used to be a dirty slave, and I released you to freedom. And what did you give me in return? You rebel against me. Sometimes a person comes and says, listen, I don't understand. Why God made such a thing called forgetness? Why are we forgetting things? Imagine, you leave Brooklyn, you take all your suitcases, you're going away to vacation, 4 hours ride. You finally get there to the hotel, you forgot to bring your credit card. Now you can't get to the hotel, you don't have money, you have to go all the way back 4 hours, such a nightmare. So you're starting to say, what's going on here? What a mind I have. Why do I forget things? You know why God made us forget things? I'll give you an example. If a person, his wife passed away, we are here because of this situation tonight. A person that finds out, chas v'shalom, sometimes a person knows in advance that his wife is on the way to Olam Haba. It takes few months. Every day she gets closer to the next world. So at least psychologically he's preparing himself for this. But sometimes it's a complete surprise. He left the house, 10 minutes later he got a phone call, your wife just died, or the other way around. What a nightmare. What a nightmare. Just to begin to think, that's it, his life is finished. He thinks, that's it, I wish I would die, not her. Why do I have to live through this? Billions of things go through his mind. He begins to cry, he's depressed. He doesn't care about his businesses anymore. The business is losing millions. He doesn't care about this. He only cares about one thing. I became a miserable person tonight. My life is changed. It's never going to be the same. That's what goes through his mind. But 5 years later, you meet with him. How are you, Moshe? Jokes, laughing, drinking, enjoying, listening to music, dancing in weddings. You're now thinking, I saw this Moshe 5 years ago on the floor, crying, pulling his hair. I don't want to leave. People spill water to his face in a funeral. And then 5 years later, you see him in a wedding, goes like this. What happened? Forgetfulness. God had mercy on us. If he wouldn't create forgetfulness, a person from the first little tragedy that he had in his life, he would sit on the floor for 50 years until the day he died. That's it. Why? It will never be better. It will always be like it just happened, because I'm not forgetting. A year later, it just happened now. There's no forgetness. 5 years later, it just happened now. Life is over. It's going to ruin the entire test. Why God made us life here? He wants us to move on with the life. I gave you this tragedy. It's in my hand. If I didn't want it, it wouldn't happen. Now I wanted it to happen. It's a part of the plan for whatever reasons. That's not the subject tonight. But move on with your life. You lost all your money. Come on, I'll help you out. We'll start again. You got divorced. It's not the end of the world. Get remarried. Have children. That's what it is. Forgetfulness. So what did we do with that? We took this gift and we used it against him. We forgot him. That's the problem here. Just imagine. One guy came to his friend and said, hey, Yitzchak, I see that you went bankrupt and all the banks running after you. People knock on your door morning after morning. I have a surprise. I have a great advice for you. What's the advice? You pretend you became completely full. That's it. You're mentally ill. Everybody who comes, you begin to make faces, jump, scream, goes like this. After a while, they realize there's no point of running after you. You're crazy. That's it. You're mental. You're mental. You cannot deal with mental people. So one thing that this guy that gave the advice to Yitzchak, he once lent him $1,000 before. So now after a week, he comes to visit him. Yitzchak, how are you doing? Wow, Moshe, your plan is working beautifully. 99% of the collectors already left me alone. They came a few times, they saw I'm crazy, I'm making faces, I'm jumping, I'm making all kinds of weird voices. They left me alone. They realized there's nobody to talk to. So now, after another week or two, this Moshe comes, knock on his door. Yitzchak, what about the $1,000 you owe me? He begins to make faces. He say, you fool, I gave you this advice. You use it against me. I help you to help you around against all these people. You're taking it against me? That's what we do to God. He gave us all these benefits. We take it and use it against him. Right? Now, the Torah continues. The Torah says, after you're going to be so successful, you know what's going to happen to you? You become a proud person. You don't have patience for poor people. You don't have patience for people that are not bosses. You don't have patience for just anybody of your employees. You become the boss of the world. You're a professional. Come on. What's going to be next? You're going to say, not in your mouth. Some people are embarrassed to say it in public. In your heart. What are you thinking? כוחי ועוצם ידי עשה לי את החיל הזה. Thanks to my talent, thanks to my strength, I'm so successful. What comes right after? Be careful. Don't forget, you should remember, everything you have came from me. Everything, not 99%. Everything you have came from me. Don't be ungrateful. Don't ever dream that the money you made, or the money you earn, or the money you found on the street, it's coincidence or it's thanks to your talent, thanks to your college degrees. Baloney. The Torah already says, Lo lachachamim lechem. If you're wise, there's no guarantee it's going to bring you food. I knew people with many degrees. Every job they try to get, the boss told them you're overqualified. The fool that has no degrees, maybe one college degree, he come, he get a job. The guy that has 10 different degrees from the best university, every job he's trying to get, the boss get panic. 6 months from now, this guy is going to take my job. Look at him with his skills, with his resume. No, we cannot hire you. You're overqualified. I'm telling you from experience. I see it all the time. The genius, 3 years cannot find a job. The fool, sell vegetables in a market and make $1 million a year. Why? Because God wants this guy to have money and this guy doesn't want to have money. Education can help to make money, but it's always subject to God's decision, if he wants or not. Now, you may say, where does the Torah say that there is reward and punishment in this life and in the next life? Where? Where does the Torah say it? Right here. If somebody asks you, remember, Parashat Vayetchanan, this is what it says. You should know, not believe, you should know 100% that your God is the faithful God who always keep his promise. Always. He's not a member in the Israeli Knesset. That before the election he promised a lot. And after the election he doesn't even remember what he promised. He never even intended to do it. You know the joke. One guy came, a politician, he died, he had an accident, and he came to the judgment, to the trial. So God told him, listen, you're a very famous person in the Knesset. I really don't know where to put you, in heaven or in hell. So let's make a deal. I'll give you 2 hours tour. You see hell, you see heaven, and you choose. So the guy said, okay, God, no problem. He brings him to hell. He see bars, guitar player, jet ski, dancers. Wow, what? That's hell? Couldn't be better. That's my dream all my life. I dream to have such life. So, okay, now let's show you heaven. He takes him to heaven. You see the rabbis. Amar Rashi, Amar Rambam, Amar all the Gemara, books, beers. Wow, this is hell for me. I think they made a mistake. They switched the signs. So he says, God, you don't need an hour tour. I made up my mind. Take me back to the other place. So, okay, take him. They bring him to the door, to the gate. They open the gate. He jumped in. Desert. People are depressed, burned, carry heavy things on their backs, skinny like this, screaming. People are drowning in swamps. What's happening? There was all bars, guitar, beautiful ocean. What's going on here? God said that was before the election. You're a politician, no? That was before the election, everything is blue, beautiful. After the election, you drown in a swamp. Nobody remember who you are. So now, that's because this is the world of lies. But over there, it's 100% precise. And here is what is right in front of you. You can go and check. You should know that your God is the faithful God, who keep his promise always, and the kindness to his lovers. Who is considered his lover? Who keep his mitzvot. Those who listen to his orders. They keep Shabbat. They dress modest. They don't steal. Not only they have beard and yarmulke. Yarmulke, it's $1, $2, and a beard is for free. You can become religious in 2 minutes. Maybe a month, you grow a beautiful beard, and now you, Baruch Hashem, you're tzaddik. People bow down to you, Rabbi, give me bracha. I saw some such people, they don't know how to read 1 page in a Gemara. 1 page, but they have nice, beautiful beard. Whenever they go to parties in places of, non-religious people, they stand on line to get bracha from them. Why? They have a beautiful sombrero, long beard. The guy never opened a book in his life. Why? People judge people based on how they look, not the inside, the outside. But the Torah says, I faithful to pay reward to my lovers who keep my mitzvot for 1,000 generations. How? How 1,000 generations? We only live 1 generation. Le'elef dor. And what's the rest? I'm sure you ask yourself many times, how is it possible that the rabbi hardly pays bills? Even to afford a car, sometimes he cannot. And this guy that doesn't keep Shabbat, doesn't put tefillin, marry a non-Jewish lady, eats not kosher, cheat in a business, all his life is a life from A to Z, makes millions. What's going on here? Where is the justice of God? We see the Torah, we know, we read, but we don't see reality. Reality is the opposite. Is it really the case? No, it's not the case. Here, right in front of you. The rest, I am paying my haters, my enemies, cash to their face to get rid of them. Here, again, I repeat. Paying my enemies, my haters, cash to their face to get rid of them. I will not delay the payment to the wicked people. So I don't understand. If they're wicked, what payment? Why you pay them cash? For what? The answer is, even the most wicked Jew in the world made some mitzvot in his life. Once a year he fasts on Yom Kippur. Once in a life he put $1 here and there in a box. Once every 2 years he put tefillin. Sometimes he eat kosher accidentally. Didn't know. It was kosher. Yeah? Or once somebody told him, make a mitzvah, sit in a sukkah, make a mitzvah. Once in his life he washed his hand before he ate bread. It could be, no? Accidentally he does mitzvot here and there. So God owes him for this mitzvot. He's the God of justice. He said, Ani el ha'emet ve'atzedek. I am the God of the truth, of the justice. Not a judge in the Israeli court. I am the real God, the real justice. No phony business here. 100% precise like the law. So if you made some mitzvot, even though you're wicked, 95% sins, 5% mitzvot, I got to pay you for the 5%. But I don't want you in the world of eternity that I promised to the righteous Jews. I don't want you to enter there. So I'm paying you cash in this life to get rid of you. No rabbis, no translation, no books that were written 5 years ago. Clearly from the text of the Torah, paying the wicked Jews cash to their face to get rid of them. So if he has a Mercedes, if he has a $10 million house, if he owns a baseball team, if his wife is the most beautiful girl in town, or whatever the case is, or all his dream came through, feel very bad for the guy. It's moment before eternal, final spiritual destruction. Before it's over. He gets paid before it's over. If you still have doubts, this is another sentence. Ish ba'ar lo yeda. A fool will not know, and an ignorant will not understand. Before reshaim kmo esev, that the wicked people are popping from all over. Everywhere you go, people with no yarmulke. Everywhere you go, girls that forgot to get dressed. Here and there you find righteous person walking on the street. Oh, 1 million wicked people just passed by. Here is one tzaddik passing by. Baruch Hashem. One out of 1 million. What's going on here? Before reshaim kmo esev, the wicked people are popping from all over. Why? Vayatzitzu kol po'alei aven. All those who go against God, you hear about them everywhere, in the media, in the newspapers, everywhere. What's the last final word? Lehishamdam adead. They're all popping up. They are famous. They're in control. They're in charge of the media. They're in charge of the government. They're in charge of the business. Moments before I destroy them permanently. It's inside the divine book. I didn't make it up. If it was up to me, maybe I would judge them differently. But I'm not God. That's his decision. So what's better? To enjoy 20 years here in illusions that you think you're really enjoying, but nobody is happy in this life, I promise you, nobody. And I speak to very wealthy people in some of my lectures. Very wealthy people. I'm talking in billions, not millions. When they come to cry to me after the lecture, and the next day, if I show you the list of my emails, you won't believe how miserable they are. They asked Bill Gates in Israel a year ago in an interview in primetime television, Mr. Gates, you are the right person to ask this question. Does money bring happiness? His answer is, check. Absolutely not. It's convenience, but definitely not happiness. And then he says, when I'll die, I'm only gonna leave my children $10 million. That's it. You know how much he has? About 60 billion. And they ask him, what are you going to do with all the rest? I give it to charity, to people he doesn't know. Here, Africa, Israel, United States, Europe. For miserable people, for medicine, for food, for all kinds of things. Why this guy is better than us? Why? He never got the Torah. He did not stand around Mount Sinai. Why he got what we should have got a long time ago, and we didn't, and he did. Only $10 million. You know what it is for compared to how much he made? He's not leaving his children 1% of 1% of 1% of his money. Money is not going to make them happy, he said. $10 million, they can't even buy a house in Ocean Parkway. Soon you're going to hear on the news, Mr. Gates Jr. did not get approved on his mortgage. Why? It's not enough for the down payment. Maybe the way real estate is, he's going to be able to buy a house or two soon. Then the Torah continue. I'm ordering you all these mitzvot for your own benefits, not for me. La tov lach. This concept constantly repeat in the Torah. For you, believe me, it's for you, not for me. For you. You're not doing it for me. I live with or without you. I'm perfect with or without you. Don't think that if you do it, I'm going to be more perfect. God forbid. Then the Torah continue. Some Jews say, Rabbi, okay, I hear it all the time. You don't have to convince me that the Torah is the Word of God. It's enough. I watched 1 or 2 lectures. It's perfectly clear to me. It's hard for me to change. It's hard for me to change my habit. So I want to teach you something that the Torah told us. The Torah says, this is very important to know. The psychology of the human mind always works the same. And there is a secret that if you realize it, your life going to be a picnic. Perfect. אחרי הפעולות נמשכים הלבבות. After the actions, the act, follows the heart. Again, when you begin to do, first time you may hate it 100%. Second time you hate it. Third time you hate it. Fourth time you hate it only 90%. Fifth time 70%. After 10, 20 times, there's a breaking point. You begin to love it. When I was in the army, I had my own breaking point. 18 years of my life, I couldn't look at eggplants. I looked at these eggplants when they burn it and make, eggplant salad. Couldn't even look at that. All these strings like this. Wow. How can people eat such a thing? Eggplant, I'm running away. Poison. Come to the army. What do you get every day? Cases of eggplant. Make something to eat. So they cut, they fry. There's nothing to eat. Once you don't want, twice. You begin to taste. You close your nose. What happened today? It's my favorite food. I didn't have a choice. I had to eat. Once, twice, 3, 4. Now, I can live without it. What changed? The tongue is the same one. The body is the same body. The head is the same. The food is the same. Nothing changed. There's a secret in life that God made. You're going to do because I told you to do. I promise you, guarantee. Not 99%, guarantee 100%. You're not going to die before you fall in love with this mitzvah. Guarantee. You cannot keep Shabbat. It's difficult for you. You think it's boring. You're thinking you're losing a lot of business. Yes. It has to be difficult. That's the purpose of the test. If it's not difficult, what do you want the reward for? Some people say, okay, Rabbi, I'm going to be dressed modestly, but I don't want to cover my hair. Just leave me the head. The head. I want my hair. Come on. Okay, I'm going to dress skirts. It's too difficult for me to cover my hair. That's your test. What's hard, it's your test. What's easy, you're not going to get reward for. A guy has $1 billion. Somebody came and begged him, give me $1,000 charity. He wrote him a check, $1,000. Do me a favor, I'm busy here. Just get out of here. I don't want to lose time here. Why? It's not difficult for him to give 1,000. When he come and ask for $1 million, what? $1 million? Who are you? His heart is boiling. When he gives $1 million, he's going to get a huge reward. When he gives 1,000, he's going to get a small reward. Why? The Torah says, according to the efforts, that's how the reward is going to be. Now, each one of us is different than his friend. What's difficult for me could be very easy for her. It could be even more difficult for him. Sometimes a person has no desire to lie. He born honest. From the day he remembers himself, Jew, Goy, it doesn't matter. He has no desire to lie, to cheat, to be tricky. He's very straight, 100%. Why? That's not his test in life. When his previous life, he already corrected these habits. That's why he doesn't have desire to be a liar. His friend cannot live without a lie. Moshe, is it day or night now? Oh, the sun is shining. He lies just for the fun. Even when he does not get any benefits from his lies, he cannot live without it, because that's his test in life. One guy is a thief. The other, you leave him with piles of diamonds. He'll never take one. even non-religious person. Why? It's his nature. Why? That's not his test in life. Sometimes we judge a person on the news. What? This guy has a beard, he's religious, and he's a thief? I'm better than him and I'm not religious. The person may look at that and say, I'm better than this guy. No, you're wrong. He's a million times better than you. Because for you, you don't have desire to be a thief. That's why you don't understand. How is it possible that this guy with the yarmulke is a thief? That's his test in life. That's why God made it difficult for him. Sometimes you see a guy is very faithful to his wife. Religious, not religious, that's besides. The Torah improve you, of course. That's what the purpose of the Torah, to show us the right way. But naturally, there's two brothers. One is cheating on his wife constantly, and the other doesn't even think about it. Why? Because this is his test, and that's not his test. So remember, no matter what test God gave you, according to how difficult it is, that's how much the reward is going to be. If it's very hot in this lecture tonight, I know some people left after 5 minutes because it's a sauna here, but those who stayed, it counts for them like 100 lectures. I should have told you that in the beginning, but maybe it's better I didn't, because now you stay for the truth, not for the reward. You have to know, the Torah says, one mitzvah in sorrow and pain equal like 100 without any difficulties. If you learn or you listen to a lecture when you're all sweaty and it's difficult and it's whatever the condition are, and you sit in a beautiful air condition and beautiful great chair, everything is perfect, over there you get a much higher reward. Why? Because you are suffering while you're doing the mitzvah. That's the highest level. That's the highest level. We read in the Torah, we open the Torah, what do we read? Va'hi achar hadvarim haele. And after those things, God came to test Abraham. Again, another test. 9 different tests he already had. Not enough. God comes to Abraham and says, do me a favor. I'm not forcing you. Just do me a favor. Kach na. Please. Not an obligation. Please take your son and slaughter him. After 99 years, he waited for this son. After God told him, don't worry, Ishmael is not going to inherit you. Your own son is going to inherit you from Sarah. After God told him, go teach the Goyim not to throw their kids to the fire. I'm not interested to take babies and kill them for God. That's not what I want. After all that, one day God comes to him and say, everything I told you, now I'm telling you the opposite. You just told all the people not to kill their son, you're going to kill your son. I promise you that your son will inherit you, now I'm telling you, go kill him. What made Abraham so great? That all 3 religions admire him. The Torah says a few things. First thing, when God told him that, he did not make a beep. God, doesn't make sense. You're contradicting yourself. You're the God of the truth. You told me that he's going to be he's going to inherit me. Now you tell me to kill him? What's all the people that I taught not to kill their children are going to say about me? Everything I said was a lie. I'm going to kill my own son. Not a beep. Not only that, he goes to sleep at night with no problem. How do we know? Because the Torah said that he woke up very early. How can a father go to sleep when God told him, go slaughter your son tomorrow? Would you be able to fall asleep? You know you have to kill your son? Now, if God will tell us to kill our son tomorrow, what time would we do it? Would we do it 6 in the morning or would we do it 7 in the evening? We would wait until the last minute of the day, no? To have another 12 hours with our son, to hug him, to kiss him, to sit with him, to learn with him. Let's spend 12 hours together. What, I'm going to rush to kill you? I have all day. But the Torah says, Vayashkem Avraham baboker. He woke up first thing in the morning. Sunrise, he was already there. You understand? והאלוקים ניסה את אברהם, ניסיון. God tested him. He was fooling him. Go kill your son. He never intended for him to kill his son. So what are we seeing here? God is testing you. Don't give up. And what happened right after? When God told him, don't touch your son, he said, let me make a scratch, something, a little blood. I came all the way here. Say, don't touch him. Now I know that you are 100% righteous. אתה ידעתי כי ירא אלוקים אתה. And that's it. You became a legendary person. Why? Because you passed the test. And a difficult test, not an easy test. You see $1 by your friend's pocket, you didn't steal. What a tzaddik I am, I didn't steal $1. It's not a test. A test is something that you're dying to do and it's difficult. And you're giving up. Why? For the truth. I'm not going to waste my life here, 70 years living against my direction. Because later it's going to be very painful. Just before we finished, the Torah says like this. Pay attention, right in the middle. It says, this mitzvah that I'm giving you, it's not so difficult. It's not far away. It's not in the sky that you may think, who's going to go that far and bring it to me? It's not far. It's not across the ocean. It's right in your hand, in your mouth to do it. Piece of cake. It's piece of cake. Start and you see that it's a piece of cake. Don't be afraid. In the beginning it looks very difficult. 3 months later, all the Baalei Tshuva can agree with me. So many Baalei Tshuva in this generation all over the world made repentance. Ask them to return to their old days. 90% of them will not agree. They won't even consider it. You take a guy that keeps Shabbat already 5-6 years. Tell him, I'll give you $1 million on Shabbat if you come and drive the car on Shabbat. It's a test for him? It's not a test. Oh, critical battery. What happened? We didn't connect the...
I have a chance to get a dream.
So, גילי, מהר, תחבר לפני שזה יכבה. So the point is, I always forget to connect for whatever reason. So, the point is that the Torah says, it's not far away. It's right in your hand to do it 100%. I want to tell you just a story. 2 generations ago, only 60 years ago, the Nazis, they used to make the trials to the Jews on Shabbat. The judge was a Jew. The Jews that they were judging, of course, were Jews. The cops were the capos. The police was Jews. The guy who writes the protocol is a Jew. Everyone is a Jew. The audience are Nazis, Imach Shimam. The audience is going to start on in the same place. So, one time, they brought a lady, an older lady, and they blame her that she gave bread to another Jew. So they ask her, the judge asked her, excuse me, ma'am, are you guilty? She doesn't answer. 5-6 times he asked her, are you guilty? Thank you. She doesn't answer. The judge looks at the Nazi tells him, final question, yes or no. If she doesn't answer, death sentence. So they asked this lady, and her children are screaming from the crowd, 2 guys. Mom, answer the question. She wasn't there. She didn't give him anything. The judge said, dead. Take her out. On the way out from the court, her son came to her and said, Mom, why did you kill yourself? You should have fight for life. Why did you not answer? So she told her son, you're such a fool. If I would answer, the Jew that writes the protocol would have to write on Shabbat. His life is less than mine. He's going to write on Shabbat. It's Shabbat today. Understand? 2 generations ago. That could be your grandmother. Who knows? Look at her. Look at us. What are we doing on Shabbat? Why? Don't even know what Shabbat is. How many times you read the Torah? Never. The Torah said 12 times. Shabbat is the eternal agreement between me and my children, the nation of Israel. It's a sign that I created the world in 6 days, and in the 7 days I strike completely. I give you a chance to be exactly like me. It's an eternal agreement. The nation of Israel observed the Sabbath to make the Sabbath an eternal agreement between me and the nation of Israel. It's eternal agreement for eternity. What does it mean? If a Jew doesn't keep Shabbat, what happened to him? He cut his wire from God. He's not connected. He cut his Judaism away. He can return tomorrow if he's going to start keeping Shabbat again. But as long as he doesn't keep Shabbat, he has no part of the world to come. No part of the world to come. He doesn't keep the covenant, the main covenant. Shabbat, Shin, Bet, Taf, abbreviation, Shabbat, Brit, Filin. Shin, Bet, Taf, Shin, Shabbat, Bet, Brit, circumcision, Taf, Tfilin. What's special about these three mitzvot? Those are the three mitzvot that the Torah says it's a sign between me and you. It's a sign, it's an agreement. Shabbat, Shin, Bet, Taf. The nation of Israel observed the Shabbos. Today, 70-80% don't keep. What happened? They die today or tomorrow, they finished. They cannot enter the world of eternity. No chance whatsoever. Halacha in Shulchan Aruch, the Jewish book, the Halacha of Shulchan Aruch in 7 different places. I didn't write it. We received it in Mount Sinai. Don't blame me for that. The Torah says, in Shulchan Aruch, 7 different places, different chapters, Mechalel Shabbat is 100% like a goy. No different whatsoever. If he touched the wine, you have to spill it to the garbage. If he lost an object, you have no obligation to return it to him. If he's a witness in a court, you cannot take his testimony. If 2 people came and say, this person just killed the other, one of them is not Shomer Shabbos, you let the murderer go free. The punishment of Mechalel Shabbat in the Torah, don't believe me, read. You don't have to believe me, read. It's much worse than the punishment of a murderer. And if you're clever, you understand what does it mean in the eyes of God. If he gave a worse punishment to Mechalel Shabbat than a murderer, what do you understand from that? That in his eyes, doesn't matter what I think or she thinks and he thinks. Doesn't matter. We did not create the world. We did not write the truth. According to the Creator, to be Mechalel Shabbat is a worse crime than a murderer. If I tell you can't take a baby and blow his head off, would you do it? For $1 million you wouldn't do it. But if I tell you light a cigarette or turn the cell phone on Shabbat, no problem. That's much worse. But you are ignorant and you don't know that in his eyes is much worse. Why? Because that's what they taught you in Aleph Dalet Gordon school that you went, or in a public school across the street. Why? Because the teacher is Chinese. What does he know about God? Or Christine, or Mr. Moscovich, a Reformed Jew. Does he know about the Torah anything? He is married to his boyfriend. They're still dreaming to have kids together. He got married in a church. That's the teachers here in the schools. What do you expect from him? He's going to teach you the truth of the Torah? He violates the rules of the Torah every second of his life. He may teach you about computers very well. He may teach you medicine. He may teach you to be a great chef, or a painter, or a barber. But he cannot teach you the truth of God because he's violating this rule every second. Just before we finish, I want to tell you another story. That's the Reform teacher. It's demonstrating from across the street.
Train.
I want to tell you something. Sometimes a person comes to make a sin. A goy passed by, a non-Jew runs. How are you doing? He stopped right there. The next day he comes to violate the rules again. A little kid, 2 years old, is coming and staring at him. He cannot make the sin in front of this 2 years old. The next day he comes to do the sin again. A dog is staring at him. A dog, a little black, ugly dog is staring at him like this. So he said to the dog, go away, go away. Why are you staring at me like this? He's trying to push him out. The dog is stubborn. He doesn't want to move. So he said to his girlfriend, listen, I cannot make the sin in front of this dog. Let's go look for another place. One day this person will die. We're all going to die in the end. And the trial is 1 year. That's what the Torah. That's why we say Kaddish on the deceased people for 1 year, because they stand in a trial for 1 year. Every word, every thought, every step, every breath is being judged 100% from A to Z. Cannot escape anything. It's not the court here in downtown. You can fool the judge and bribe the witnesses to say what you want, or the prosecutor. It doesn't work that way over there. Over there it's 100%. You cannot avoid. So after this person will die, is coming in front of God. God is going to tell him, I cannot believe I am worse than a dog in your eyes. God forbid. Why are you saying this, God? Of course you're not worse than a dog. Why are you telling me this? He's going to show him that day that he was about to make a sin, and the dog was staring at him and he couldn't do it. He was embarrassed from the dog. And God will tell us, from the dog you were embarrassed, for me you can care less. I'm worse than a dog in your eyes. What are we going to say? Why? The Torah says there's an eye who watch over you, and a ear who listens to you, and everything you're doing is being registered in the book of God. And in another place he says, each person will be judged from A to Z. Even a word, every word that came from his mouth will be reviewed 100%. Oy, for the embarrassment. Where are you going to hide? So what's the point? The point is to accumulate so many sins and crimes, and one day that we're going to have to pay for it, or to become more clever. Let's become educated. Let's start learn Torah. Slowly get into the system and be real, not fake. Fake religious people, unfortunately, there are plenty. Real means Torah, it's Torah. Honesty, it's honesty. Charity is charity. Modesty is modesty. Faithful, gratefulness. Real, not phony. Phony, stay not religious. It's not different. Phony religious and non-religious, I don't know which one is worse. You want to be real. Follow the laws, 100%. You don't believe me, 90% of what needs to be done, you can learn on your own. Today, they made books for beginners in any language. Any language, Russian, Persian, Arabic, anything. You can be a good Jew today, even on yourself, because they make it to such simple language for beginners, because there's hundreds of thousands of Baalei Tshuva. And it's a very good business. But let's make books for beginners. The laws for Shabbat for beginners. 80% you can learn on your own. Don't wait. Just begin to move. Before, God forbid, it's going to be too late. I gave you the life and the good, the death and the bad, that I'm ordering you to love me, to follow my ways and to keep my mitzvot, that you should live and multiply. I give you the life and the blessing, the death and the curse. You should choose the life, that you and your children after you will be alive. Now I want to ask you a question, and we'll finish with this question. I don't understand. Chris doesn't have any religion. Ahmed believes a little bit in the Quran, but he's not religious. The Yitzhak is not religious. The dog is not religious. The chimpanzees is not religious. The eagles are not religious. But they're all alive. They're alive. They make noises. They walk. They dance. They make money. They go to casino. What's the problem? But according to the book of God, the condition to be alive is to keep the mitzvot. Always. If you want to be alive, listen to me and keep my laws. Because if not, you are dead. But excuse me, God, with all the respect, I understand. But I'm not a fool. Me and Chris and Yitzhak and the dog and the chimpanzee, we all alive. I'm keeping your mitzvot and he doesn't. He has more money than me. He's healthier. He goes to the gym every day. He has time for this. So why are you calling me alive in your book? And according to your book, he's dead. Here comes the final answer. Now it's your choice if you want to believe it or you want to ignore it. God says like this, I swear in my name that all these laws that I gave and all the punishments of execution, there are serious punishments, that murder, Shabbos, worshipping idols, eating chametz in Pesach, sex crimes, this is on the top of the list. It's execution for those kind of sins. So now the Torah comes and say, even though I gave all these executions, punishment, I swear in my name, it's the highest level of promising. I swear in my name that I'm not interested to kill the dead. Rather, I'm interested that he will return from his sins, that he should live. Simple Hebrew, no translation. Here, I am not interested to kill the dead. How can you kill a dead? If a dead body is laying here, you can kill him until tomorrow. It's no different. Cut him to pieces. It's not going to make a beep. He's dead already. How can you kill the dead? No, you cannot kill the dead body. It's dead already. What God calls life and death is completely different than what we got used to. Completely different. For me, alive is someone that connected to me, stick with me 100%. If he's far away from me, if he's disconnected from me, he's dead. So what he walk? So what he run? So what he eats steaks? He listens to music, he makes money. Baloney, who cares about this? The dog also is alive. The guy is also alive. He's running, he's playing basketball. It's the same thing. That's not what life is. That's movement. Energy. He's moving around. Life means spiritual life. Eternal life, not temporary 20, 40, 50 years. That's nothing. Before you realize it's over, it's a blink of an eye. Oh, it's over. That's what life is. When a person dies, he turns back and you look at his 70 years, it's going to look like a moment. You know what it means? Keheref ayin. In Hebrew, heref ayin means a blink of the eye. How many times you're blinking in a minute you don't even realize? Because it's so short, doesn't pay to pay attention to it. That's how life is going to look after. But now you are holding to it, trying to build towers and mansions and buildings and vacations. Before you set up all this pleasure, you're not even going to enjoy it. It's going to be over before it starts, and you're going to sit and regret for eternity, for the opportunity that I gave you to earn spiritual, eternal pleasure. You sold it for nothing, for some delicious food, for a vacation, for driving on Shabbat to the supermarket. For that you sold me, is not going to be an end to the pain that we're going to have. Only when you realize for your stupid things, for your ignorance, what price you're going to pay, that's when you're going to feel the pain. The Chazal says the major punishment for a person besides the embarrassment is that God will show each one of us, this is what you should have been, and this is what you became. Look at you. Look at you! And look at you where you should have been. This was your potential. You should have been like Sarah Imenu, like Rachel Imenu. You should have been like Moshe Rabbeinu. You should have been like Rabbi Akiva. And what are you? Going to a soccer game on Shabbat, eating seeds like a monkey and screaming, yes! The ball went into the net. I'll die for it. That's the purpose of life. I'll die for my team. Rabbi, what are you talking about? That's what we're living for. To see somebody take a piece of leather, kick it, and it goes into the net. Baruch Hashem. Bless you that you created me to see this moment. Where does it come from? From stupidity. The stupidity become inside our veins already. It's like in our genes. We don't even realize. Somebody that is in the bathroom is singing. You know why? When someone is entering, he's dying. 5 minutes later, he's singing. You know why? When you're deep in there, you know what? You don't smell it anymore. You become a part of it. When you go out and now try to return me to this phony life. I died just to enter there. But when I was there, I didn't suffer. One time there was a slave in Africa, his name was Konta Kinte. That's before most of you were born. He was a slave. Shmuel, you know him, right? I'm not making it up. You back me up on it. Konta Kinte was a slave in Africa in the days of the slavery. One white man in Africa owned him. An American citizen went to Africa for business. He saw the white man beating up the slave. He felt bad for the guy. He was holding his hand. Why? Why are you doing it? You're cruel. What do you mean? I own him. I bought him in the market. Okay, how much it cost you? $20. Here is $20. I buy him from you. So now Konta told him, didn't you hear in the Torah of the Jews, they say, if you started the mitzvah, you must continue. Don't leave it in the middle. You leave me here, you get back on the plane, they'll grab me again. They own me again. I have no choice. I have no rights here. So the American guy was forced to buy him a ticket, and they brought him here to New York. Now what am I going to do with you in New York? What am I going to do with you? So he decided he's going to buy him a shoe shine booth and put him by Lexington Avenue in a subway. And he taught him how to shine shoes. And he said, listen, people will throw $1 or $2. Whatever you make, buy yourself whatever you want. I'll give you my garage. I live in Long Island. You live in a garage. No problem. You happy? Happy. Like he started to kiss his feet. He's such an angel. All day, he's singing and dancing in a subway. One rich guy came. While he's shining his shoes, the rich guy realized, he said, what's going on here? I am the big shot from the business market, and I'm miserable inside, empty. And look at this guy, he's shining my shoes, and he's much happier than me. Something is wrong here. I got to find out. He asked him, excuse me, Konta, why are you so happy? He said, what do you mean? My life is a legend. Look at this, how happy I am. He said, this is happy to shine shoes? Come, I'll make you my driver. I'll teach you how to drive. Somebody like you, it's perfect for me. He left the booth over there. We went, he taught him how to drive, tuxedo, nice hat, cigar, nice watch he got for him, whiskey bar in a limo. Now he drives the limo. The guy came to the shoe shine booth. He disappeared. Konta disappeared. 6 months later, he crossed the street in Park Avenue. Oh, familiar face in a limo. Here is Konta. He grabbed him from the window, beat him up. You ungrateful, I saved your life, and he disappeared like this. So Konta told him, I know, you're right, you have a point. Please leave me alone. He said, I want you to return right away to the booth. Kadima, let's go. He said, no. He said, why not? When you were there, you were dancing, you were happy. You were the happiest guy in the world. Why you don't want to return there? He said, you don't get it, huh? When I was there, I thought I'm the happiest person in the world because I didn't know what's to drive a limo. Now when I drink scotch every day, I go to parties, I drive around, I'm free. Nobody tells me what to do. I'm listening to music, make a lot of money every week. You want me to go back to shine shoes? Crazy? What's the message in this story? When you're right now in your step, I'm happy. I have television. I have a job. Whatever you are, everybody in his level. You think you're happy. Get out of there. Go to a higher level. Then try to come back to these days. You'll be embarrassed of yourself. I promise you, check me out if I'm right or wrong. Some of you, right now, when you look at your pictures in the album, you say, what a handsome guy. Wow, I'm a movie star. Such a shame I'm not in Hollywood yet. Nobody discovered me yet. Such a talent. I'm much better than this movie star. I'm much better than this guy. That's how people are thinking. One day, if you follow the truth, God knows better than you what's good for you. You're just hallucinating. If you follow the truth, one day when you open this album, you vomit. When you see yourself, you're not going to know where to hide these pictures. You're going to be so embarrassed of yourself. And the question is, what changed? Today, when you look at yourself, what a body I am. Look at this. 5 years later, when you finally became holy and purify your soul, you don't want to look at yourself anymore in the old albums. You know what changed? Your soul changed. Your soul has changed completely. When I give you a bag of diamonds and I tell you, take it up to the mountain. After you're taking it in such a hot day, after 5 minutes, you say, what am I doing? Why I volunteer to take such a heavy bag in such a hot day? After 10 minutes I call you up on your cell phone. I forgot to tell you, the bag is full of diamonds. When you get to the top of the mountain, 99% of the diamonds go to you. Only one diamond goes to the person in the top of the mountain, the rest is yours. What changed? The guy gets up with the diamonds, singing, sweating, dancing. It's not heavy anymore. He's not disappointed anymore. You know why? The bag is the same bag. The heat is the same heat. Something in his mind changed. He realized every step I'm doing now, I'm earning a diamond. If you check the Torah carefully, I promise you, 100%, not 99%. Every second word in the Torah, Hashem, God is promising us eternity, good in this life and majorly in the next life, good for our children, but not good here, some money and some fun. Eternal good, life, endless pleasure. The Torah says if you take all the pleasure of this world for 70 years, for all the people together will not be equal for 1 hour of pleasure of the righteous Jews in the world to come. You got me? All the people in the world and all their pleasure multiplied by 70 years cannot be equal to the reward of each one of you if you be righteous. Why to lose it? For what? I want to finish again. First of all, thank you very much. It was, for me, it meant a lot that you sacrifice more than 2 hours of your time and set. I know it's hot, it's humid day today, and so when there's a lot of people in a room, each one of us has 500 BTU of heat. So if the air condition has, let's say, 20,000 BTU, and there is 20 people in a room, 10,000 from the BTU of the computer is gone right there. So if it's 20,000, it's really like 10,000. So if there was 40 people here, it's like the air condition is not working. You understand? So it's not that the air condition here is not good. I'm sure it's good during the day when there are 3-4 customers. And when there's 30, 40 people, you have to sweat. But you know what's the real reason why we sweat? Because God loved us. And He wants each one of us to have not 2 hours of lecture, 200. So He brought the heat. Remember, according to the efforts, according to the difficulty, that's how the reward is going to be. Any questions before we finish? Again, I repeat, this lecture was for the memory, Leilui Nishmat, Ida Bat Clara, and to the success of her family and the success of each one of you and your children. And the most important thing, that each one of the people who listen to this lecture and those who are going to listen to the lecture on the web, Bezrat Hashem, in the next few months, to wake up before, God forbid, it's going to be too late. We are moments before the final destructional war is going to start. War like you never dreamed before. It's called Gog Magog, the final war before Mashiach is going to come. And it's going to be destruction to 2/3 of the people in the world. And it's going to be the resurrection of the dead. It's the salvation and the build of the third Bet HaMikdash. All the prophecies in the Bible, in the Tanakh, that describe a complete atomic war, a complete destruction of the world, is moments before they are going to start. The world is already mature for it. The countries have the weapons. Read Zechariah 14. Read it, describe the last war, how it's going to be. The eyes of the people will melt out of the holes. That's what's going to happen before the arrival of the big judgment day of God, the big and final day. It's called Gog Magog. Biat Mashiach is going to come from the Olive Mountain in Jerusalem. It's going to split the two halves. Things going to happen in the world, and we see that we are very close to it. Please, each one of you, if you care for your eternity, wake up today before you miss the train. When the Mashiach comes, nobody accept. No more converts, no more Baalei Tshuva. It's not fair. Now everyone wants to be religious when they saw the Torah was right. Make it before it starts, that you can be a part of it. Thank you very much. Good night.